Good morning, good evening, wherever you are at today. We are going to be going over this weather outbreak that's going to be happening in the south and showing details of what could happen in your area. Stay tuned. Okay, so taking a look at the SPC outlook, we have a marginal risk for the areas of Dallas, Texas, Austin, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, Arlington, Texas, and Palono, Texas. You guys are in a 1 out of 5 on the severe weather scale. Alright, so the slight risk, you guys have a slight risk for College Station, Texas, Sugar Land, Texas, Missouri City, Texas, Bryan, Texas, and Dalton, Alabama. You guys have a 2 out of 5 on the severe weather scale. And then a 3 out of 5 on the severe weather scale is for Houston, Texas, New Orleans, Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Mobile, Alabama, and Pasadena, Texas. So you guys need to be on the lookout for severe weather as it could happen today. Taking a look at our tornado percentage right now, 2% out for Dothan, Alabama, Alexandria, Louisiana, Lufkin, Texas, Nacogdoches. I'm not sure how to say that, but it's in Texas. Enterprise, Alabama. You guys have a 5% out for College Station, Texas, Sugar Land, Texas, Missouri City, Texas, and then Bryan, Texas, and then Panama City, Florida. And then taking a look at the more severe sale, we have a Houston, Texas, New Orleans, Louisiana, Baton Rouge, and Louisiana, Mobile, Alabama, and Pasadena, Texas. You guys are in 10% for tornado risk. And then for the SIG severe, which is very, very high and is reaching anywhere from multiple states, is Houston, Texas, New Orleans, Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Mobile, Alabama, and Pasadena, Texas. So you guys need to be on the lookout for some severe weather and possible tornadoes as the tornado perimeter is pretty high today. Taking a look at our wind threat, we have a 5% out for Dallas, Texas, Austin, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, Arlington, Texas, Palono, Texas. A 15% for Houston, Texas, Pasadena, Texas, uh, Beaumont, Texas, Sugar Land, Texas, Woodlands, Texas. New Orleans, you guys have a 30% chance of heavy wind for New Orleans, Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Mobile, Alabama, Materia, sorry if I butchered that name, my bad, Louisiana, and Lafayette, Louisiana. And the people I just mentioned are in the SIG 2. So you guys have a 10% greater wind gusts of 65 kilometers, 65 knots greater within 25 miles. So please, please, please be in a lookout for heavy winds. Now moving on to our hail, not really as much of a heavy percentage, but also something to be looking out for. Shreveport, Louisiana, Mobile, Alabama, Jackson, Mississippi, Tyler, Texas, and then Longview, Texas. You guys have a 5% out. Houston, Texas, New Orleans, Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and sorry about that. In Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Pasadena, Texas, and Matria, Louisiana, you guys have a 15% out for hail. Take a look at their day 2. This is for tomorrow. Right now, if you're in any of these areas, Virginia Beach, Virginia, Atlanta, Georgia, Miami, Florida, Norfolk, Virginia, and Greensboro, North Carolina, you guys have a marginal. Charlotte, North Carolina, North Carolina, Tampa Bay, Florida, St. Petersburg, Florida, and Orlando, Florida. You guys have a slight risk for the enhanced. Jacksonville, Florida, Tallahassee, Savannah, Georgia, and Gainesville, Florida, and Fayetteville, North Carolina. You guys have a 3 out of 5 on the severe weather scale for the categorical. Now, I will admit this is a downgrade from the tornado percentage today, but it's still pretty dangerous. You have a 2% for North Carolina areas for Charlotte, Virginia Beach, Virginia, Miami, Florida, Tampa Bay, Florida, and St. Petersburg, Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, and Raleigh, North Carolina, Durham, Savannah, Georgia, and Gainesville, Florida. You guys have a 5% out. And this 10% goes for both areas of the 10%, goes for the same areas. Tallahassee, Florida, Fayetteville, Florida, North Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina, and Williamton, North Carolina. You guys have a SIG and a 10%. Taking a look at our wind. Wind is fairly high up there today for tomorrow. Charlotte, North Carolina, Virginia Beach, Virginia, Miami, Florida, Tampa Bay, Florida, St. Petersburg, Florida. You guys have a 2% out there for wind. And then you 15% for Charlotte, North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina, and Tampa Bay, Florida, and St. Petersburg, Florida, Orlando, Florida. You guys have a 15% out for SIG, for 15% for wind. And these two are never mind, they aren't really the same. Jacksonville, Florida, Tallahassee, Florida, Savannah, Georgia, Gainesville, Florida, and Fayetteville, North Carolina. You guys have a 30% out for wind. And SIG severe for the wind is going to be Jacksonville, Florida, Raleigh, North Carolina, Tallahassee, Florida, Savannah, Georgia, and Gainesville, Florida. You guys have another SIG for severe wind. Taking a look at our hail, fairly low. Anywhere for the hail, you guys, hold up. Tallahassee, Florida, Dalton, Alabama, Pensacola, Florida, Panama City, and Ferry Pass, Florida. You guys have a 5% out for hail. So to sum it up, basically today we're going to be mainly focused on a tornado risk and a severe wind and a possible hail risk. Now, for the day 2, we're going to be taking a look at mainly a tornado and wind risk. So please be on the lookout for that, as it is going to be a very busy day for tomorrow and Wednesday. Today and Tuesday. Alright, take a look at our HRRR model. This is the closest range that we can see will be going on it and the most accurate. Going on an hour out, you can see, let me go ahead and switch these over. A line that will be progressing eastwards will continue to grow, and this is the area that is going to be under concern, as this line will proceed to grow overnight. Going on another hour out, you can see it starts to really ramp up, but not really so much. But then right here is where I'm really concerned. A couple hours out, we have individual cells that could produce some heavy storms at times, and this line starts to progress as it moves on. Going on from that, we have another line that is progressing still, but it still really is pretty dangerous. As you can see, these cells in these areas in Louisiana could be seeing some heavy storms at times, so please be on the lookout for that. And as these storms progress, these could be producing some large hail and tornadoes at times. As it progresses and moves into New Orleans, you see this line of storms from there to here that has possibly cinctures of hail. So please be on the lookout for that, as some hail can drop very heavily. And then as it moves on, it really starts to organize. As this line moves on into Alabama, it really starts to organize into a straight line wind threat to and tornadoes. So looking at that really is something to watch out for. Taking a look at our temperatures, we go ahead and get this pulled up. Temperatures are going to be fairly warm right now. As this moves through, it's going to be bringing in a cold front on the back end of it, but it's not impressive on the temperatures. Something to keep a lookout for, as it's very low 60s in these areas. It's going to be seeing the severe weather event. Dew points, we're going to take a look at our dew points real quick. This is a good indicator of what we could see. Dew points in Louisiana are fairly high, so you guys could be seeing some decent storms if these dew points do stay up to date. Something to also look out for is the wind gust. Wind gusts are going to be fairly high once this storm moves out. You guys in Oklahoma and anywhere from Texas could be seeing anywhere from 45, 44, 50 miles an hour winds, which is fairly high. So please be on the lookout for that. Taking a look at our relative humidity, I've noticed that the humidity has been pretty upwards as the storm goes through, so the humidity is fairly high, which will indicate more stronger storms, and that's something we don't want to see, but also is something that will fuel these storms. Moving on to our NamNest model. Take a look at the NAM nest we have. We can see these storms really start to form in Louisiana. It doesn't show us the greatest of accuracy, but it's showing us more of a close range what could go on right here. See these storms start to form, and right in this area, storms individually start to form in Arkansas into Louisiana. So that's something to keep a lookout for. Moving a couple hours in, you can see it. The storms are very individual and progressing to be more of an individual's line, and you can see this line starts to form through here, which could bring some heavy storms at times. And we'll go forward and see what it actually shows. And you can see this is the really big concern I'm having is this whole line of storms starts to move eastwards into the Alabama and into the Charlotte, North Carolina, anywhere in that area. So something to keep a lookout for. Uh, my bad. Something to really keep a lookout for. So as we move forward, you can see that's where I'm concerned about. This line really does progress and starts to stretch down and hits Alabama really hard overnight, and into the northern Florida hits that area really hard. So something to really keep a lookout for as the day goes on and into the night. You can see its line starts to a little bit weakening, but once we hit daytime, it'll start to hopefully not, but hopefully it starts to weaken. But I do think it's going to progress and get stronger in daytime hours tomorrow. And then it starts to really weaken, but once it hits that favorable environment into Florida, it starts to really ramp on once it enters West Florida, but then it starts to dissipate and moves out to the ocean. So really something to keep a lookout for. Really do need to keep a close eye on this. That's why we'll be live streaming this tonight and into the overnight hours as this moves on. Take a look at our supercell composite. It's fairly high. I haven't seen this much supercell composite in a while. It shows us what could happen in the supercell areas and what could happen. So fairly high, and I want y'all to be on a lookout as these storms are going to be very, very significant. Tornado parameters, this shows us what the tornado parameters are, and I'm very concerned about Louisiana into New Orleans as tornado parameters are off the charts right now, anywhere from 7 to mid-range 6. So please, please, please keep an eye on this as it goes through into the overnight hours. And once again, we're going to take a look at the wind gust to show us what's going to go on. As this moves on overnight, it's going to be more of a QLCS event where it's going to have heavy winds. So please be on the lookout for this. This is not something to mess around with, folks. I really want you all to be on the lookout for this, as this could be a dangerous storm that moves into this area. So take this information, spread it out there, get everyone informed. If you have any family in the area, please let them know what's going on and make sure they have their safety precautions in plan. Safety tips for severe weather: no, never drive through flooded roads. Also, never. Also, tornado sirens aren't designed to be heard indoors. Tornadoes can occur in severe thunderstorm watches and warnings. Take shelter for severe thunderstorm warnings too. You may not have much time to seek shelter. Wear a helmet and shoes and when taking shelter. Lightning can strike several miles away from a thunderstorm. Have a plan, stay away from windows, and have a storm kit. Thank you everyone for the support. I do appreciate it today. Sorry if my voice is a little gone. I just got back from school. But I do appreciate y'all for showing the support you've done. You've made my dream come a lot farther in life. You can find us on Twitter at SciWeather, Instagram SciWeather91, and Discord will be in the description at SciWeather. Hope you all enjoyed. You guys have a good evening, good morning, and we will be live later today covering this severe weather event. Once again, I appreciate y'all, and I am Shady, and I will be out. Bye bye, guys.